Good morning, kids. I have a question for you. When somebody gives you something, are you happy and satisfied, or do you always want more? Well, listen to today's story called Nancy's Allowance. Nancy was unhappy. It seemed as though Nancy was always unhappy. But this afternoon, she was even more unhappy than usual. She was in the candy store, and she didn't have enough money to buy as much candy as she wanted. She had only 10 cents left out of the 15-cent allowance her father had given her that morning, and she wanted to buy 20 cents worth of candy. She felt very upset, especially at her father, because he hadn't given her a big enough allowance. Nancy watched to see what the other children were buying. She noticed that Marilyn Rogers had bought 5 1-cent lollipops and gave the store clerk a nickel. It was all that Marilyn had, but she didn't seem to mind. In fact, she seemed happy. That night, when her father came home, Nancy said, "Daddy, I must have a bigger allowance. I need to buy more candy. I need to buy lots of things to have fun with. It makes me unhappy when I can't buy the things that I want." But Nancy's father didn't think that that would be a good idea at all. "It's not that I don't have the money to give you, Nancy," he said, "but money doesn't make people happy. You can never get enough money. The more you have, the more you want. If I give you 25 cents instead of 15 cents, then you will want 50 cents. If I give you 50 cents, then you will want $1, and you'll still be unhappy." "No," said Nancy, "if you give me 25 cents instead of 15 cents, I'll be very happy." Nancy's father finally agreed. Nancy jumped with joy. She threw her arms around her father and said, "I think you're the best daddy in the whole world." Her father shook his head. "You won't think so for very long," he said. "Not if it depends on how much money I give you." Nancy was happy for 2 whole days. She kept thinking, "Now I am rich. I have a 25-cent allowance instead of only a mean 15 cents. Now I can be happy." But the third day, when Nancy went down to the candy store, she found she had only 5 cents left because she had already spent 20 cents of the 25 cents that her father had given her. "Oh dear," she thought, "only 5 cents left. I've simply got to have a large allowance. My father is stingy. He ought to give me 50 cents. She told Marilyn what she thought, but Marilyn only smiled. "I only get 10 cents for my allowance," she said. "But that doesn't make me unhappy." "How can you be so happy, Marilyn, when you have only a 10-cent allowance?" Nancy asked. "Oh, that's easy," said Marilyn. "I'm happy because I have so many things. I have a nice home, a dear mother and daddy, happy brothers and sisters, a good school to go to, and all kinds of nice things. But most of all, I have Jesus. I could still be happy if I didn't have so many things that please me, if I just had him. He makes me happy." Nancy was very much surprised. "Jesus must be a very nice friend," she said. "If he can make you happy even when you only have a small allowance, maybe what I need is Jesus instead of more money." Marilyn thought so too. She told Nancy all about Jesus and invited her to come to Sunday school with her so that Nancy could learn more. And do you know what happened? Nancy became a friend of Jesus, and that isn't all. One day she told her father, "Daddy, I need only a 15-cent allowance now, just the same as I used to get." Nancy's father, who was not a Christian, looked surprised. "How come?" he wanted to know. "Because," Nancy explained, "money doesn't make you happy. Only Jesus can do that." I guess you're right, her father said. Maybe I'd better find out about Jesus, too. Here are your questions to think about and to talk about. Number 1. Did the larger allowance make Nancy happy? What did she want then? Number 2. Do you have enough money? Will you ever have enough? Number 3. How can Jesus make us happy? The Bible says in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." Until next time, be safe, have a good day, and remember that Papa loves you.